Rubrics have become a really useful and commonly used assessment tool for most teachers, or at least a lot of teachers. And there's a lot of evidence and philosophy to support their use. And they certainly are more descriptive and more objective than a lot of other assessment practices. One of the problems, though, that they pose for teachers is the development of rubrics is rather time consuming, and so oftentimes we find ourselves making and using rubrics more for general general purposes, or finding rubrics that fit a lot of different assignments rather than individual rubrics for each assignment, or we end up going out and using ones that are pre-made. And there's nothing really wrong with that, except that also that time issue is also a problem that I've often found with students. And oftentimes we see that when a rubric is used in a classroom, the students don't necessarily even read it. And unless the teacher takes special care to include the overview or the examination of the rubric and a discussion or explanation of what the different quality indicators are and what the objectives are, unless that time is taken, students generally don't, oftentimes will not even read the rubric. And so really the tool, and you end up having this really powerful and nice assessment tool that ends up being used less than would be mostly effective. And in my experience in using rubrics, it's more effective to use a rubric that you create with your students. And if you could create a rubric with your students, including their language and their feedback into the quality indicators for a project or assignment, they're going to internalize those expectations more than if you just hand them something that you or somebody else has written. And there's a ton of online tools out there that can help you develop rubrics. There's a lot of these have templates. A lot of these tools are free to use, and so they'll give you templates that you can modify, along with the right terminology or the right words, or common words to indicate different levels of within the rubric between, if you do like a 1 to 4, so what sorts of language are typically used in a 1, what sorts of language are typically used in a 4, and so you can reduce a lot of that work by using an online tool. One such online tool is Rubistar. This is a free tool for teachers to use. This tool, if you're not familiar with it, allows you to create rubrics online, either from scratch or from a template, and it allows you to save them, and it allows you to share them. So you can also go in here and search for rubrics that other teachers have presented. But one of the features that I found has been really useful with this tool and others like it is that when I go to introduce a new project to students, I would often sit down and we would go find an appropriate rubric together and develop the rubric in class. And this works especially well if you're doing some work in small groups or individualized instruction. But I've also seen it work to some degree with large class. And so then in doing this, the assessment tool also becomes a teaching tool. It's not just a measure, not just a ruler you use to measure a student's progress. It becomes the part of the tools that we use as teachers to help our students get to where we would like them to be. So then in the creation of the rubric, we are also doing a lot of the teaching. And so let me just walk you through this one tool, Rubistar. I'm going to go ahead and log in. I've already set up I've had an account for a while, so so I won't walk through that process, but it's a simple process of giving them your contact information. So once you log into Rubistar, the rubrics that you have created yourself will show up in the bottom, and you can do a number of things. You can view the rubric, you can edit it, you can analyze it, you can delete it or duplicate it. And the reason you might want to duplicate it would be if you wanted to use the same rubric but make some modifications. So let's say you have a rubric you use with students for a project, and then you're going to have them do a similar project. Well, you'll be assessing things that are very similar, but you want to change the wording a little bit on some parts. You could then duplicate that and change the wording. You can look for a rubric that someone else has created, and this is just a regular search engine, just like any other, where you can type in different search terms. So if we search for keyword, let's say we want to do math rubric, and we'll just search in the titles, or we could search by author name if we know somebody on here who's created a rubric that you want to look up, or if you have an email address for someone, you can look for it that way. And so I'm just going to go ahead and search for math, and we'll see how many different rubrics this brings up for us. And as you can see, we have a total of 493 rubrics for math. There's 50 pages, so there's really quite a bit. And we would probably then want to narrow this down. And now these are all user created. So and oftentimes you'll find that someone has started to create a rubric and published it, and before they were finished and decided not to come back to it. So some of these aren't really great, but then some of them are fantastic. And you probably want to, if you use someone else's rubric, we'll probably want to modify that for your own use. So here we have a rubric that a teacher has created, modifying the 6+1 trait writing model for math. And so this is the math 6+1 writing. And so the way they've published this is they've given people rights to use it. So you could go on here and look and examine this, and if you like this, you could print this and use this in your class. Sometimes some of these are printed in a way or published in a way that will allow you to also modify them. Now, if you just wanted to start from scratch, we can go up here and hit create a rubric, and they'll give you a few different options. You can either start with nothing, or you can start from a template. And so these are all templates here. These are all common templates for oral projects, products, multimedia, science, research and writing, word skills, math, art, music. Or you can create your own brand new rubric if none of these suit your needs. But let's just go ahead and click into one of these. I'm going to go ahead and click on a science fair experiment rubric, and we'll show you how that looks when this comes up in the editor. So we open that up, and you'll want to give your rubric a name, and just because it's a science fair experiment template doesn't mean it has to be a science rubric. I mean, you could use a science fair template rubric to write a rubric for a creative writing class or anything else. It's just that you're going to change the language. So here we have the different fields, and the default for this obviously is a 4-to-1 rubric, and you can then choose different types of questions here. So we're going to do an idea, and then we can enter in our data here for for our objective or whatever it is we're going to measure for that element of the rubric. And so when we choose this up here, you can see it automatically filled in these fields, and then those can also be modified if we want. So this one says independently identified a question which was interesting to the student and which could be investigated. If we wanted to change this to topic, for instance, for a research project, we could do that too. You can edit this to whatever degree you want. And one advanced feature that I've actually found rather interesting with this, and I've never really used, is you can enter in some HTML code into these if you really want to be fancy, so that you can embed pictures or videos or hyperlinks. Anything that you can embed on a web page could be embedded in a Rubistar rubric. And obviously a lot of those things wouldn't print very well. You can't really print a video, but if you wanted to provide the rubric for students accessible online, you can publish the rubric as a separate web page as well. So for instance, to do this, let me go and grab a we'll just grab a video. So we're just going to go to YouTube and find a YouTube video, and I'll show you how we can embed a video within a rubric. And the reason you might want to do this is, let's say you're working with building a rubric for non-readers. You may want to make different videos for the different identifiers, and of course that's going to be more work, but it is an option that's available. So let's just grab one of my favorites, and we'll grab a video from there. And this is just for the sake of demonstration, so I'm not necessarily going to make a model rubric here. But if I go over here to embed, I can grab the code here, and then I can go back over to Rubistar, and I can paste that. So I paste that in there, and it should publish a video there. So let's go ahead and submit. Oh, I need to have a name. So we're just going to put, just so that nobody accidentally clicks on this, we're just going to say this is test rubric. Actually, we don't want to say test rubric because that's a different language. We're going to say testing a rubric. So maybe that won't be something that people will likely search for and find. Oop, come on. And I'll hit submit, and we'll see what this looks like when it generates it. And so here's my rubric, complete with video. So I could embed 4 videos in a row here, just change the size of them, and or I could do text, I could do images, anything. So that's online rubric makers. If I highly recommend you try them out if you do use rubrics in your classroom and find it takes you a long time to put these together manually. I have found this tool helps me save time, and it's also beneficial for students.